Hello everybody. So you're welcome to my Facebook page, and if you are watching this from YouTube also, you are welcome to Tom Fashion Empire YouTube channel. My name is Temi, and I'm the brain behind Tom Fashion Empire. In today's video, I'm actually going to be explaining to you how to cut the different degrees of flare which I talked about in my last post. I know it's late. I ought to have made it as a post, a write-up, but there are some things that it will be easier for me to talk on the video than it will be for me when putting it on the writing. So I had to find time and make a video on it. So let's go right into it. Now, I talked about the degrees of flare that we have, the basic and the advanced degrees of a flare. Now, I said now in this video we are going to be looking at how to cut the basic degrees of a flare. So now, I said we have four basic degrees of a flare, which are the foundation, or let me say the origin of other degrees of flare that we have. So you have to have a better understanding and a good understanding of how to cut these basic degrees before you can work with the advanced. Now we have the 90, the 180 degree, the 270 degree, and the 360 degree. And also I put a figure that these are the figure that we used when dividing them. For the 360 we have 6.28. For the 180 we have 3.14. For the 90 we have 1.57, and for this one we have 4 point I'm just going to check it here. We have 4.71. So these are the figures that we use in dividing when working with any degrees of this flare. Now that is for that. Another thing, now in this illustration I'm going to be showing you how do we now cut any degrees of this flare using the skirt as an illustration. Now let's say we are working with a skirt, so I'm going to be using a very tiny measurement, but when making yours or you are making it for someone, just make sure that you follow the same process that we are going to be following, but using your actual and accurate measurement. Now, the two measurements that we need is the skirt waist and the skirt length. Skirt waist and skirt length. Now, the skirt waist we are going to be working with is going to be 2 inches. The skirt length we are going to be working with as well is going to be 2 inches. So these are the measurements that we need. Now, we are now going to pick each of these measurements one by one, working with these degrees that we have. Now, before we start anything, the next thing we need to do is this. Now we know that this is the waist that we are working with, waist 2 inches. Now we have to get the radius of the waist, which we are going to be working with. Now the next thing we are doing is we are going to divide 2 by 1.57, so that when working with a 90-degree flare, we know that okay, this is the radius for this person. I hope you understand. Now what we are going to do is divide 2 over 1.57. Get what the figure is. That's when you are working with yours. Now you use your own waist measurement or anywhere that you are going to be placing the flare. Now another thing is, if it is 180, you do 2 over 3.14. For 270 is going to be 2 over 4.71, and for 360 it's going to be 2 over 6.28. So and you get your figures. Now let's pick them one after the other. So I'm going to work with the 90-degree flare first. Now, so I'm going to make use of my tape rope, and this is the piece of paper. I'm going to use this first for the simplest one. Now, we said the waist measurement is 22. That is the waist circumference of this person that we are cutting this flare for, is 22. And our skirt length is what? Is 2. So now, we are working with a 90-degree flare. Now, what do we have to do? The first thing we are going to do is this. Divide our 2, which is the skirt waist, the 2 inches, which is the skirt waist, by 1.57 because we want to cut the 90-degree first. So that's why we have 2 over 1.57 here equals to. So we are going to check it. And our figure that we have here is 1.27. The figure we have here is 1.27. That is the. Now we are going to take this part of the paper as the breadth. The breadth, I mean the width, or you can say the area whereby we measure the yards, like it is this part that determines how many yards we have. Now this place we are going to use it as the length. That's this length. You know, the length of your fabric doesn't change. It doesn't matter if you are working with a fabric of 100 yards, the yard can change, but its length doesn't change. So this is the length area now. Now the next thing we are going to be doing now is this. We know that the radius of our waist, the waist circumference was 2, and we divided it by 1.57, and the radius now is now 1.27. Now to get the particular total measurement that we are going to be working with, the radius is 1.27, noted, radius 1.27. The skirt length is 2. Now we are going to add these 2 to 1.27 to help us in folding our fabric. Now we know that 2 plus 1.27 is now 3.27. Now, like I said, you are working with the 90-degree. For the 90-degree flare, when your fabric is like this, all you do is you place it on fold once. Let me show you here. This is the fabric. You go ahead and you place it on fold once, just once. That is, this is the fabric, this is the length area. You bring it over to the width or the breadth area, and it is like this. So when you are done, you are going to turn it this way, because this is where we are going to take the waist measurement from, and the length is going to be taken from here. I hope you understand. Just one fold, it's like this. You bring it over like so, and you have your waist that is going to start from here. Now we are going to go ahead and place our measurement. We said the radius of our waist is what? Is 1.27. So we can approximate it to 1.3. No, because we are working with a pro and we calculated with using the calculator. So we are just going to work with 1.2, which is the same thing as 1/1/4. So I'm going to measure my 1/1/4. I don't know which one you call it. If it is 1.2, it's fine. So I'm going to bring it to the part here, measure it, mark that point. Bring it to this pointy area here, mark it. Bring it to this edge here and mark it. And I'm going to connect everything like so. This is it. This is what I have. Now from this same point now, I'm going to measure the total length, which is what we calculated using 1.27 plus 2 inches, which is the length of our skirt, which is now 3.27. And you know we are working with 1/4 or 1.2, anyone you call it. So I'm going to place it here and measure my 3.2. That's 3/1/4. Still placing it here, 3/1/4. Still placing it here, and this is my 3/1/4. And I'm going to connect everything like so. And this is it. Now this is the 90-degree. For you to be on a safer side, before cutting out, you can just go ahead and measure this place, just so you are sure that okay, what I'm working with is right. Now what we have here is 1 inch, so we are correct. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to go ahead, cut it out like so, leaving this marked area as the place which I'm going to be sewing to my fabric or my sleeve, any part you're sewing it to. At the hem, so I'm going to cut it like so. So this is it. And now this is the 90-degree. This is it. So I'm going to keep it aside. I hope you understand. I'll move ahead to the 180-degree. Now for the 180-degree flare, what we are simply going to do is this. We are going to pick up the skirt waist, which is 2, and divide it by this figure here, which is 3.17, 3.14 rather. And our answer here is 0.6. So now we are going to work with this now. Now we are not going to place the fabric on fold the same way. That is why the degrees are different. So I'm going to cut out this brown paper. This is the brown paper I'm going to be using. This is going to be the width or the breadth area where we get the yards from. And this is the length. Like I've said, if no matter the length, I mean the yardage of fabric you are working with, whether one, whether thousands, hundreds, the yardage can change. But the yard does not mean that the length of this fabric is going to change. It's still going to be the same thing all through. Now, one of the reasons why we do this one is to manage your fabric. So we can put that to work right here now. Now we know that everything that we need for the fabric is 2.6 inches. So I'm going to use that to place my fabric on my paper or fold. Now this is what I'll do. Get your brown paper, measure the 2.6, that's 2 3/4. Measure it like so. Get that point, place it on fold just like what I have here. Now this is it on fold now. So it can be more, like the way this one is 2 3/4 now, you can round it up to be 3, and I've done that here, so I'm having more here. So once it's unfold this way now, it's unfold now, we are now going to place it over. You can see it unfold. We can place it over. Now to place it over, you have to be so mindful. Look at how I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring it this way. I'm going to bring it, making sure that, so can you see what I did? I brought, this is the length of my fabric, this is the yard area. I brought the breadth of my fabric all the way, placing it on the length area. You don't do it, you can as well do it this way. It's still going to give you the same thing. Just make sure that this fold area is at this point. This folded area shouldn't be at the base. When you bring the fold area wrongly, it is going to affect it when you cut. Now, just like the 90-degree was one piece, this part too is meant to be one piece. Okay, let me just go ahead and cut it out. So, as well, if you are working with fabric, you can just go ahead. You can use, when you are sure that you did your calculation correctly, you can use more than this. So now what we did was we first placed it on fold, rounding up our 2.6 to 3 inches. We placed it on fold, and this is what we have here now, and we are going to fold it all the way here, and this is what we have. When you do it, make sure that this point is well placed. So this is what we have here. Now we are now going to go ahead and use our measurement, which is 2.6 and 0.6. Now from this pointed part here, I'm going to measure the 0.6. On your table, you know 0.6 is going to be 3/4. So, or I don't know if you use decimal, then fine. So I'm going to measure this my 3/4. This is my 3/4. My 3/4, my 3/4. This is it all the way. And I'm going to, you can just, like I always said, you can measure to confirm. Now, I know I'm accurate now. Now, I'm going to go ahead as well and measure the total 2.6 that we have, which is 2 3/4. This is it here. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it is still at that pointed part. Here. I'm going to bring it like so. Mark it here. All the way. Mark here. All the way, and mark here. And I'm going to connect every point. So, and this is what I have. Now, this is what degree 180 degree. And I'm going to cut it out. So this is it. I'm going to turn it over and cut like this. So this is what we have now. So this is what we have. I'm going to use my sellotape. Because I want you to see how it looks, the difference that is happening around the grease. Now this is the 180 that we cut at first. This is it here. That is it. And this right here is the 90 we also cut. Now for the 270 degree, it is also almost like another technique, another thing that is going to be coming in. Now I'm going to get my brown paper first, which is this. So which, just as we've been doing, this is the width, this is the length. Now in this case, remember the first one was just a fold, the second one two folds. Now this one, now we are also going to place it on football 3 times. That's, now the first thing we have to get is the skirt is 2 divided by 4.71. What do we have? Let me get it. Now we have 0.4. 0.4 when you divide it by 4.71. So now we know that for 270 degree, our radius is now 270. Our radius is 4.71. Now, and our skirt length is 2. Now what we are going to do is to add, no, I'm sorry, not 4.71, it is 0.4. That's our radius, 0.4, and the length is 2. Now what we are going to do is to add this to this. We have 2.4, right? That means all the fabric that we need must be 2.4. So I'm just going to skip that because I've showed you how to do that before. So, and I'm just going to place it on fold like we would do. So this is it now. You place it on the first fold like we did when we were working with 180. We did this first, right? Then you bring this over again. Now in this case, each fold must match up. Each fold must match up. So I'm just going to go ahead and measure, making sure that it is enough for what I need, which it is more than. So now each fold must match up so that this part is going to help when placing it on fold. So I'm just going to give it a nice press. This is it. So, and this is what we have. So now this is it. Now once you are done, you can go ahead, cut off the excess, or you can just leave it. Now once you are done with that, this is for the 270. And let me tell you something, when you are cutting your fabric this way, there is no how you cut a 270 degree flay that it won't have a joining. There's going to be a seam, but it is now left for you as a designer to bring that seam into work. And this 270 degree, we often use it when working with Ankara, when you want to get make a Ankara dress for a plus size and you don't want it to be too full. Are you getting it? Because there are some plus size that you can use up to 364. It is going to be too big on them. Are you getting it? So it's going to help manage your fabric as well, give it the same fullness, like it's closer to 360 than 180 degree. Now, so you have to place it on fold. It means that you have one piece now covers the front and half of the back. Then the other piece is going to be half of the back. So if you know how to work with it, you can bring the same is going to have to the side. Are you getting it? So when you bring it to the side, you could convert it to a pocket for the side. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. So once we get this fold now, we are now going to further go ahead and bring it this way. Remember I said when you are working with something like this, make sure there is a folded part here. There is a folded part here. I hope you can see this part. So when I cut it, it is not going to make everything to be pieces. I'm going to have 2 pieces. That's one 180 and 190. So once we get this part, this is the excess. I can just cut off the excess so it doesn't confuse us. So that was the excess. Now everything is balanced and I'm bringing it this way. Now we are working with what? 0.4 and 2 inches. That's the total of 2.4. Now I'm going to go ahead, measure my 2.4, which we are going to use. This is it now. Now 0.4 is the radius. I'm going to measure it. You can use half, you can use 3/8. You can use half, you can use 3/8. Mind you, we are using calculator to divide tape rule measurement, which the calculator will often be more than what we need. So it may be like 1/4 to 1/8 more. So just be aware of that. Let me put it that way. So you can do half, you can do 3/8, any one that you choose to do. So I'm just going to measure my half all the way. So I'm doing 3/8 all the way, all the way. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. So this is it here. This is it. So by the time we cut it out, everything is going to be balanced. Now, and the total length, since I'm working with 3/8, the total length I'll need now is 238. 238. So if you don't know how to read your tape pro using the fraction, you might need to, you can just ask. I'm going to share the link to watch it, to see it on Facebook, where you can see how to read your tape measure accurately. So, and I'm going to connect it. Now, this is the 270 degree. So once we are done, we cut off this point. We go ahead and we cut this point as well. So now this is all we have. Remember I said it is going to be 180 and the 90. You can see it is forming almost a complete circle now. So this is it. We are moving to the last one. So I want you to just note the difference that keep happening. This one is just here. This one, the flute distributes around. Then this one flutes all the way around. So that means it's just falling, 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 like a falling mango. So now we are moving to the 360. Now, how do we get the 360 as well? Our 2 divided by 6.28 like we have here. So we are going to get the figure for that, which is 0.3. 0.3. Now, this is the figure for the 360 degree, and the skirt length is 2. So we know that the radius for 360 is 0.3. Then the total length now, total length is 2.3. So I know most of you know how to actually cut the 360, but I'm just going to explain an error that most people often make when working with this. Now, this is the width of the fabric and this is the length. Now, in this part now, I always tell people that you don't have to fold all the way on your fabric. You can manage it. Are you getting it? Now, manage it in the sense that, okay, what do we need? We need a total of 2.3, right? We can just round it up to 2.5. So I'm going to place it on fold like so. I want you to watch closely what I'm going to be doing. So this is it now. Automatically, what I have here, it's even going to be more than 2.5. Now, once I've done that, remember this is the length, right? And this is the width. That's the yardage area of my fabric. Once I've placed it on fold now, I'm going to now bring it over like this. So, unlike the way some do, like they just go all the way, it makes you waste your fabric. So, you can, one thing that makes you so good is not just how to cut and how to sew, it is how you also manage fabric. Are you getting it? It should be one of your secret talents, or maybe I should say gift as a designer. Now, just bring it over like so, making sure that it covers this, right? I've rounded it up to 2.5 now. So this is what we have now. You can see for the 360. I'm going to explain it again. For the 360, this is the yardage or the width area of your fabric, and this is the length. Now, to manage your fabric, in as much as you are not working with a very long length, are you getting it? You just place it on fold using the total length you have here, which is the radius of your waist plus the skirt length. So everything is now 2.3, but we said we are going to work with 2.5 to round it up. So this is on fold like so. Then you can bring this over and place it on fold. Make sure that it covers for this your total length. So this is it. Now what we are simply going to do now is to take our measurement. It's like a box from this edge here. We take the measurement, that's the 3. 8, that's 0.3, we take it from here. Then the total length 2.3, we take it from here and shape it out. So this is it here now. I hope you understand. So I'm going to measure. Now, okay, let me say something. There's some things I notice people do. When you fold this, some still go ahead and do this. Yes, you can do it, but don't say that because you've folded it again that it is not going to make it fuller. No, it doesn't change it. Because of what? You are still using the same fabric that you are still going to use. So the fullness hasn't really come in. So it's just you trying to minimize the wideness of that fabric so that your cotton will just be shorter. It doesn't change it to 720 or another degree. No, I just decided to make a correction to that. So we are going to go ahead. Your 3/8, you can reduce it and make it become 1/4 because you are working with tape rule here, not meter. So this is it. This is all we have now. So still from that point we go ahead and measure our 2/3/8, and if you use 1/4, you measure your 2 1/4. So this is it. This is it. All the way, all the way, and we are good to go. We just connect the dots. Then this is 360 degree. So we cut it out. So, and we cut it out here. So automatically, so this is it. So this is going to be one piece. One piece. Like you have the complete part of this place. The complete part. So I'm going to place it up so you can see. So we have all the basic degrees ready. The 90, the 180, the 270, and the 360 degree. And I hope you understand. So now, in this case, you are the one that is going to cut through and create a seam line. So you can use it for anything you desire to make it with. But I always tell people that you have to, when you are making a flare dress now, you have to consider the body sizes that you are making it for. And even when you are adding it to a sleeve, you have to also consider the body sizes in some situations, not in all situations. So I hope you understand. I hope you get it better. So if you have any question, do not hesitate to ask in the comment section. I'll be there to attend to you. And please do let me know if you got value